Hello ladies and gentlemen, Wrath of the Lich King fans. Tier list, all classes PvP including Battlegrounds, World PvP, 1v1 and dueling, 2v2 arena, 3v3 arena, skirmishes, whatever PvP you can think of. Paladin, my favoritist class ever. Holy Paladin, S tier, no question. Beacon of Light, healing 2 targets at the same time, Sacred Shield, unbelievable absorb, very little casting required. Plate wearer, heavy armor, you can bubble yourself, your teammates, giving everyone immunity. Hand of Sacrifice, Divine Sacrifice, both to break CCs that break on receiving damage. You can play in some of the most epic 2v2 and 3v3 comps, including Holy Paladin, Honest Warrior, Holy Paladin, Unholy DK, TSG and 3v3 with Honest Warrior and Unholy DK. S tier in every single fucking PvP environment. Retribution Paladin, S tier for Ret. Cause he's got the Sacred Shield again, he's got the double sacrifice just like Holy, he's got incredible burst. If you underestimate a Red Paladin, he can burst you down in seconds. Solid CC with Hammer of Justice and Repentance, amazing off healing with instant flashes of light. Amazing in 1v1, World PvP solo content, complete S tier. Not as impressive in 3v3 but still really solid. Protection Paladin, actually playable. Wrath of Lich King introduced playable tanks in PvP. I'll give him B tier. He's okay, there are comps you can work in, like with Disc Priest or Resto Shaman in 2v2. If you feel like spending your youth in arena, you can play a comp like that. Lacks the off healing from the Art of War that Retribution spec has, but it's still a very solid option. Also carries that silence with Avenger's Shield. And don't forget, there's also the Preg spec. I would put it in S tier, no doubt. Similar to Rat, a little less burst, a little more defense. Again, great off healing with that Art of War proc and Flashes of Light. Both Rat and Preg work well in a number of different comps in 2v2 with Hunters, Enhancement Shamans, DKs, you name it. I have guides on my channel on both Preg and Holy Paladin. I name all the comps there, check it out. Another plate wearing class, Death Knight. I don't know if I put it in S tier. Let's put it in A for now. Unholy DK is amazing. Pretty easy class to play, I would say, on that kind of average level. You don't really have to care much about your party because you're not a supportive class, but you have the Chains of Ice and Death Grip to help with peeling for your partners. You can play with a Shadow Priest in 2v2 or with healers, just like Warrior. Unholy DKs are a Tunneler class. They like to have a healer by their side. Of course, they can play in the aforementioned TSG. They're great in solo PvP and BGs. Overall, really solid pick and totally rank when viable. Frost DKs are more of a battleground hero, not as competitive in rated PvP, but a fun class to play, really bursty. Unholy overall is better, a little more complex than Frost, but Frost is a solid option still and totally playable. Another tank, Blood DK. Never saw them do any good in PvP, honestly. I can't think of a bracket where he would be any good. Don't play it. Play Unholy or Frost or some of the other tank specs. Arms Warrior. I'd put it in S tier, honestly. Not as good in World PvP and solo and 1v1s. It's solid, but not as good as some of the other classes. But it's fucking unreal in 2v2 and 3v3. Of course, paired with Holy Paladin in 2v2, paired with Unholy DK and 3v3 and Holy Paladin. Also can play with basically any other healer, but Holy Paladin providing it with the Hand of Freedom and the Dispels, it's the best. Fury Warrior in PvP, never saw anybody playing Fury Warrior in PvP, I gotta give it a try. Don't play it, there's Arms, it's better. Prod Warrior, actually a lot of fun, something comparable to Protection Paladin. They're kind of equal, the Protection Warrior and Protection Paladin, kind of the same thing. Very bulky, you can run like half the set PvE. You want to have a lot of armor pen with the Protection Warrior. Decent mobility, pretty good damage with the shield slams and revenge when it procs. A fun class to play, definitely not as OP as Swifty made it look like back in Wrath, but still a lot of fun to play. Marksmanship Hunter, I'd put it in A for now. One of the kings of crowd control, really good at any type of PvP, excels especially in Battlegrounds. He's sniping from the distance, farming the killing blows. Beast Mastery Hunter, really good in Wrath of the Lich King. I'd put it in B because I don't think there are as many comps he can run. It's basically Marksmanship Hunter but cooler because you got the big pets, so if you like big animals, go for Beast Mastery and you can play with a Enhancement Shaman in 2v2 ideally for a big burst. Especially on lower ratings where opponents are not expecting it, you can burst them down in a matter of seconds. And lastly, Survival Hunter, never saw it in PvP. I don't know why I would play it. Marksmanship and Beast Mastery are just so good, there's no reason to play Survival in PvP ever. Enhancement Shaman, very similar to Retribution Paladin, incredible off healing. A little more squishy, doesn't have the bubble or sacred shield, so they get bursted pretty easily if they don't have their cooldowns up. Very bursty with the wolves, pairs up well with the Beast Mastery Hunter. Very solid option, rank 1 viable completely, great for solo content due to the off healing capabilities. Elemental Shaman, really good in Battlegrounds, 3v3. Basically the more opponents you're facing the better, because you can chain lightning and spread the damage across multiple opponents. Not as amazing in 1v1 or 2v2, but the more opponents you face, the better it gets. Resto Shaman, pretty solid. I'll put it in B for now. Totally rank 1 viable. Doesn't have the freedom or dispels of a Holy Paladin, so that's where it lacks, but it has the purge. Can go a little more offensive. Celerity Rogue, the king of PvP, the best rogue spec for PvP on pretty much every single expansion. Unreal crowd control. The best crowd control in the game. Comparable to Frost Mage, but different. Very bursty, more suitable for a more skilled and seasoned player, since you have to time your crowd control properly, but really good, can play a number of different comps with Frost Mage, Disc Priest, Shadow Priest. You have so many options. Incredible in 1v1 and World PvP. You're the one that decides who you want to fight with. If you don't want to engage in a fight and you're being attacked, just cloak vanish, you're out. Assassination in PvP, nobody plays that. Sub is S tier, why would you play any other spec? Combat is pretty good, especially with high armor pen and killing spree one-shots. Can be a lot of fun. It's definitely on my list, I want to try it out. Extremely bursty, and especially under 2k MMR, I can imagine you're going to win some arenas in a matter of seconds if you pop that killing spree and kill someone in just cheap shot. Feral Druid, really decent. I'd give him A tier. It is more powerful than some other expansions. Extremely mobile, the most mobile class in the game. Thus, incredible flag carrier for Battlegrounds, incredible crowd control, roots, stuns, off healing, suitable in a number of different comps. With Disc Priest in 2v2 for instance. Balanced Druid is pretty solid. Very similar to Elemental Shaman, the more opponents you face the better. Starfall Burst in 3v3 and BGs is insane. If you see Starfall and you're against the Balanced Druid, you better pop your defensives. Again, incredible off healing, can work in a number of different comps in 2v2 with a double DPS, even with a Destro Log or something. Resto Druid is really good. Again, much like Resto Shaman, lacks the dispels. It has incredible mobility though, and is a very good class for 3v3 and Battlegrounds because he's got the HOTS, so you can heal a number of different targets at the same time. Affliction Warlock, really good. I feel like most classes in Wrath of Lich King are really good. Keep repeating that. I would put it in A, similar to Elemental and Balance. The more targets you face, the better. You can spread the dots. 3v3 Battlegrounds is a king of damage. Not so impressive in 1v1, but still solid. Destruction Warlock. Wrath of Lich King is one of the best expansions to play Destruction Warlock. They are hella bursty. They do a ton of damage with Chaos Ball and Conflagrate. They have a sick crowd control. They work in a number of different comps in 2v2. Frost Mages, Salty Rogues, still solid in 1v1. Demonology Warlock is so boring on Wrath of Lich King. I was hoping it would be fun, but it's a really bad choice. Doesn't even have the Hand of Gul'dan spell that it gets on Cataclysm, which just feels like a nerfed Destruction Warlock. Don't play it. Frost Mage, amazing. Amazing crowd control, probably the best crowd control in the game alongside Warlocks and Rogues. Anti any melee class, any melee cleave will have a tough time fighting a Frost Mage. An incredible burst paired up with a Subtlety Rogue, Disc Priest, Shadow Priest. I haven't seen many Fire Mages, honestly. I guess they're okay, but not really exceptional. I like playing with fire. It's a cool concept for a class and spec, but if you want to roll mage, you better go Frost. Arcane Mage, probably never seen it in PvP. I don't even know how it performs. I think it's not too good. C tier. Shadow Priest on Wrath of Lich King, unreal. Shadow Priest got so buffed and then got so nerfed in Cataclysm, but on Wrath of Lich King it's unreal. Has so much crowd control, great off healing, the shields, the damage. He's got damage over time and burst. So you can play it the way you want. Really incredible in all PvP scenarios, from 1v1 all the way to BGs. And Disc Priest, honestly, I'd maybe even put it in S tier. Thinking about SRA, incredible healer, one of the two best dispellers, and probably the best dispeller overall. Doesn't have the freedom, but yeah, those mass dispels and dispelling capabilities overall. And it's more of an offensive healer, needs a partner that can peel for him, so ideally something like a Frost Mage or a Rogue in a team can be played very offensively. But then again, if facing against an Arms Warrior and a Holy DK, he needs help, because otherwise he will be killed. And finally, Holy Priest, ranking disc as high as we did, Holy Priest has no chance. Never even seen Holy Priest in PvP and Wrath of Lich King, so I guess that says it all, they suck. This is just my take and my experience. You might have a different experience. If you do, tell me down in the comments. See you in the next one.